Everyone, Alfonso Saleh here, and we're going to talk about 3 biggest mistakes the Tanzanians make that stop them from getting the goals that they want to achieve. Now, I said Tanzanians, but then at the end of the day, this could not apply to only Tanzanians, and I said Tanzanians because I am Tanzanian, and I've grown up in Tanzania for 18, 17, 19 years, and this is what I see, and I know Tanzanians that are, still I have friends who are Tanzanians, and I see the same things going on every time. And I just want to talk about them, and at the end of this video, you get also, at the end I'll also talk about how to actually get better, and not going to get better, but stop yourself from doing those mistakes, and that way you can get to your goals that you want to get to. And I just want to put a disclaimer, I'm probably going to speak a couple languages in here. I already speak 3 languages now, but then in this video, because I'm thinking I'll probably be talking to mostly Tanzanians, so I'll speak some Swahili. But anyways, let's get to it. Now, the first mistake that I always see that Tanzanians make is that we always, for some reason, we always wait to get permission from somebody. Now, sijui kwa nini yani, kunapenda kuambiwa tusubiri na mtu akupe ruhusa kufanya kitu. And for some reason, it's like when you want to make a decision that you know for yourself is going to be good for your life, and you see something that's not right, and you want to make your life better, for some reason we almost wait for an approval from someone higher than us or whoever that person is. And I really, after a while I thought about it, and I think it all comes down to how we grew up, the system. They talk about the system in America. I think the system is everywhere. And one of the things that goes on in the system, at least in Tanzania, we grew up going to school, and you wait for a bell, and the bell rings, and you go to another class. And the bell rings, and then another teacher comes in. Then the bell rings, and you go outside, and then you have breakfast or lunch. And then the bell rings, then you can go home. So you're thinking like life is just gonna be like that. But then when you grow older, after 18, you start realizing there's no bell. Nobody's telling you what time to wake up. Nakumbuka tunaamka saa 11 unapigwa kengele. Usipofika pale mnaandika majina. You have to also wait for someone to tell you what time to go eat, how long you can eat for, and all this. And don't get me wrong, when I was in that system too, it didn't feel like it was a system. It just felt like that's how life is going to be. But then here's the news flash. Life doesn't go like that when you grow up. You don't grow. When you get to like 18 to 24, whatever age that it is that you start experiencing life, things don't go that way. Nobody's going to come to save you. Nobody's going to come to wake you up. And for some reason now we're still stuck. Like, hey, I really don't like that I'm going to school for engineering, but then because my dad is paid for the school fees, and because everyone is telling me that I got to go to school for engineering, then I got to go to school for engineering. But then, and also, even if you have an idea that you really think is going to work, you ask some people, and if those people say, no, you shouldn't do it, then you give up. But then what's going to happen? They're not going to be with you forever. So anyways, this is just something that we normally see so many times, and it just always, whenever I see it, it just always makes me wonder, like, how long is it going to take us to be aware of that? And I hope this video helps you get aware, because sadly enough, nobody talks about this. And the thing is too, it's the same circle happens, same cycle. We grow up later, we're having our kids, take them to school. That's school same way too. Bell, bell, bell. Come home, homework, bell at school. What is this? So anyways, next. Second mistake, believing misinformation from the past. Now this is something I've been a victim of too, but I want to talk about, what does misinformation mean? For some reason, we take what someone told us in the past and think that, oh, that's the final say. Yani mwalimu alikwambia kwamba wewe ni boya, ni kichwa bovu, then that means, oh yeah, like I'm dumb, I'll never succeed because the teacher told me that I will never pass anything in class. And mpaka leo nakumbuka, I was in class and I was I was always leading in math and everything, whatever. But then that doesn't matter. You get into life, hamna mtihani wa quadratic unakuuliza maswali ya form 2 si mtihani wa taifa. Kama umefeli mtihani wa taifa, so what? My dad, he failed his national exam. He didn't even go to college. But then the things that he has achieved, to this day, I'm still surprised. But why? Because he didn't take that and just say, oh, the teacher said, or the national exam said I failed, that means I failed in life. No, nobody said that. So for some reason, as Tanzanians, some Africans too, maybe in Africa, other countries in Africa, you have the same system. Teachers tell you, or a national exam tells you that you're a failure, then you think you're a failure. But that's not true. So what can we do? It's like we have to also not believe these things, because for some reason when you live in a country like that, and I think, I understand, maybe because you live in a country and everyone's telling you that for you to get a job you need this, you need that, you need that, but then when you really realize it, at the end of the day, at least in the world that we're in now, people are opening their eyes and seeing that those degrees didn't really matter. Because if you really didn't know, or didn't really not sure what you wanted, and then you get there and you have this degree and then there's no job to give you, then you're just stuck. So, and this requires awareness. There's some things that we just think is normal, but then because someone told you that, you're not good in English, then you agree. My English is not good. You agree that, mwandiko wako kwa sababu ni mbaya, basi utafeli. And that's it. Mimi nakumbuka niliambiwa kama mimi hapa kwenye mambo ya kama ni masomo kama English, kuandika. I used to think kwamba, if I'm good at math, then I can never be good at English. Or if I'm good at English, then I can never be good at math. But that's not true. You can be good at both. And I'm telling you, it's true. But then it has to start with you not agreeing with what people tell you. And for some reason too, because in Africa we have this tradition of, Tanzania we have this tradition of kwamba mtu mzima akikwambia kitu, then you have to listen and you have to. That's not true. Maisha ni ya kwako mwenyewe. We know that. Life is yours. You are gonna go out there and go in this life by yourself. Nobody's gonna be with you. And if these people are telling you things that don't serve you, why accept them? You don't need to accept them. The last one, and after this, I'm probably gonna talk about how do you actually get better with these. So people pleasing. For some reason, we believe in that. This guy, he did so much for me, and because he did, I need to please him or whatever I can. If someone helps you, that's a good thing. You always have to say thank you, but then don't go trying to please them for everything they do just because. Or because someone gave you a job when you really needed a job, then suddenly it's like, I need to make sure. And this is how people get stuck in jobs. This is how people get stuck in places, because you're like, you know what? This person helped me when I really needed help, and now I'm almost like a servant to him. We know slavery is done. Yani mambo ya kuntakinti yashaishaga long time. Kwa nini tunabaki huku? There's no reason to stay there. We don't need to please everybody. Even if you try, kuna nyimbo inaitwaje? Nimesahau nyimbo yake. Lakini there's no reason to try to please everybody, because you won't ever be able to. Utajaribu kila kitu. Hamna mtu yani utajaribu kila kitu kwanza kuna bado utamuuzi. This is how you know. If you want to know if you're trying to people please people, is when someone that you've been people pleasing, that you've been trying to please, one day gets mad and you start saying, after all the things I do for you, you're going to do this. This is how you know that you've been trying to please them. Because if you're really doing it in generally, if someone, does something that makes you mad, you won't start pointing out the things that you did for them. Because if you really did it for them from your heart, you won't even remember. But then because you're doing for them because you're trying to please them, you always be remembering the things that you did for them. After all these things I did for you, and this person got to do me dirty. Because you're people pleasing. If you stop people pleasing, nobody's going to, there's no way you can satisfy people 100%. There's no way. And I'm actually serious. There's no way. Jaribu, go try and then tell me. Anyways, I'm going to end there. Of course, I'm going to give you other videos in the future. But then to talk about, how do you stop doing this? You have to start by being aware. Do an inventory. If you see yourself, you want to do something and you can't because you're thinking about, I need permission from somebody, then you got to be aware. Where is this coming from? They say thinking is the hardest thing people never do. Because it starts with thinking. Hasa kwa sababu uko distracted all the time, unaenda kuangalia game, unaenda kufanya nini, and every time you don't want to sit by yourself to think, what do you think is going to happen? You need to sit down and think. Think. Just think and say, okay, what am I trying to do here? That's how you start. That's the first step. It's the easiest step too. And then from there, then you can start to see some real change. Anyways, I went on a rant, but I hope the point sticked. The point is stuck. And As I said, I'll be making more videos, but this is for today, and we'll talk. And just stop making this mistake, guys. Let's go out there and do the best and be the best versions of ourselves. All right. Thank you.